So dance is your dose, I say. Dose is D-O-S-E, dose. Okay. So it actually triggers dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins.
There you go. Hey guys, I'm Mihir Joshi. Welcome to another episode of the MJ Show. Firstly, I want to thank all of you who watched the first few episodes that we put out. If you've not watched them, make sure you go and check them out. We've done some fabulous episodes in this new season already, and I've got an absolutely incredible one for you today as well. Now, my guest today is somebody whom I first spoke with during the lockdown. You know, तब सब कुछ हो रहा था Instagram live पे. तो हमने पहले बार जब हमारी बातें हुई तब Instagram live पे हुई थी. And I found them super interesting, and I knew I had to get him back into the studio once life got back to normal so that we could find out a lot more about him. You guys love his work, you love the way he dances and all the cool things that he does for you on YouTube and on Instagram and all sorts of other places. But today we're going to find out a little bit more about my guest, Melvin Lewis. Melvin,
Hey bro.
welcome to the show, my brother. Firstly, man, I've got to tell you, I've been, like I said, you know, during the lockdown, of course, we spoke. But I've loved what you've been doing for the longest time. I love the content you've been putting out, the stuff that you were doing on YouTube. I think now you're more focused on Instagram than YouTube, right? Like I see most of your content going up on Instagram.
It is more of actually, content is just content. So I think whenever I've not been like focusing much on creating content, right now I'm more focusing on picking up form.
Correct.
So actually, usme se jo content are, I'm just posting that right now. But to be honest, when I go after content creation, then it's everywhere.
तो सब जगह पे जाएगा, ठीक है. But you know, as I always do when somebody comes and has a proper chat with me, I like to find out about what I call the origin story, कि शुरुआत कैसे हुई, you know. And I'm sure you've spoken about this in multiple places. So you know, let's get into the stuff that you don't really get to talk about, और जहाँ पे you know इसके बारे में बातें नहीं हुई होगी. Like I happen to know right now, very dear mutual friend of ours, I just discovered that you know you guys were in school together, I mean college together. You used to have like a little dance thing that you were doing back then. Which college were you in? SIS.
I was in SIS college, yeah.
So Fantasies was the festival, right? तो वहाँ पे भी होता था. But even before that, evidently if you were dancing at Fantasies, you started doing dance before that. So where did this journey begin? शुरुआत कहाँ से हुई?
I think every dancer is born at home, yaar. There is no other way.
Correct.
There are very few people that tell you that, oh, I was pushed into school and like, you know, I was learning in the dance school. No such thing happened to me.
Correct.
I was at home watching videos, imitating stuff that I was watching on TV, and that's how I actually got good, to be honest. Like that's how it started.
And who were the people you were looking at back then and saying, oh, I want to be able to dance like that? Who were some of your early influences?
I mean, like a lot of them, yeah. But then Michael Jackson primarily, because I think he was the icon that time, and Prabhudeva sir.
I can imagine, yeah.
And I think these two I vividly remember because they were really at their peak in their 90s, and then we used to get watch them do a lot of dancing actually.
Correct.
Like there are barely any Prabhudeva songs where probably he's not dancing.
He's not dancing, yeah. I mean, I also remember this time because both of us are pretty much around the same time. We were watching the same kind of content. I remember when Prabhudeva hit the scene, it was like nothing before him, right? Like everybody was like, because before that, the dancer of Bollywood like was Mithun Chakravarti or like, you know, Jitendra or somebody like that. But that was, you know, that dancing, and then compared to that, what Prabhudeva brought was like miles apart. And that's after Prabhudeva is where you have your Hrithik Roshan dancing the way he does, and Tiger Shroff dancing the way he does. But Prabhudeva was like the icon, the guy who kind of kicked off that complicated looking dance stuff in Bollywood. And of course, for him as well, I'm sure Michael Jackson must have been a huge inspiration. And for me, as a kid growing up, I loved the fact that my initials, I loved him for the singing aspect of it. कि यार मेरे भी initials MJ है, उनका भी initials MJ है. Now as a sneaker fan, Michael Jordan having the same initials, like a big kick for me. But going back to your dance inspirations, you know, I saw a video that you shared right now a few days ago on Instagram, right?
Which one?
तुम्हारा एक पुराना video.
Oh.
He said, I would love to collab. That was cool. So how old were you when that video was shot?
I have no idea how old I was, but that video is around about 12 years ago.
Oh, okay. So at the start of your professional dance journey.
I mean,
उसके भी पहले?
No, like I started like way back. Like I actually started dancing when I was like about 7.
Oh, wow,
By
okay.
13, 14, I was already like, teaching a bunch of kids.
Oh, how cool.
So yeah, it all started pretty early. But then this video was shot after one of the shows I produced back then, and we had a showcase at Andrews Auditorium.
Oh,
back
nice.
then.
Because you kept it mysterious. You didn't explain what was happening in that. But that was really cool to see.
It was a company outing actually. We
Nice.
all went for a post-show trip together, and that's when it was shot.
Very
ऐसे
cool.
casually we were all chilling.
अगर आप लोगों ने ये देखा नहीं होगा ना तो मैं अपने डिस्क्रिप्शन में
मैं delete कर दूँगा.
so but okay, so let's get back to your journey. So you said घर पे शुरुआत हुई, looking at people like Prabhu Deva, Michael
Yeah.
Jackson. You said also that you taught at a very young age. But how did the transition from learning dance by yourself by watching people to professionally or teaching people? वो कैसे हुआ? How did you get deeper into the dance space?
Again, it was all a fluke here. I was just dancing, then a few parents approached me, said, "Listen."
अच्छा वैसे ही?
Yeah, like
Okay.
please train my kid also. My kid is
क्या
like,
बात है?
my kid's never coming first. He's only coming second or third. What is wrong, man? So I said, okay, auntie, I'll try. So then I just started showing up to rehearse with the kid once, and then more people were gathered, and they were like, "Arey, train this one also, train that one also." So suddenly I have like this batch of 5, 6, and next year they were all winning competitions.
That's amazing.
So then you have your fellow friends and all in college or school or whatever. Oh, let's make a dance team, let's make a crew, let's try doing this, that. So then all those kind of things started.
Right.
We started competing. We started winning. Judges were choreographers. They would call us up for their shows, performances. That's how professional groups started reaching out.
Correct.
Melvin, why don't you try freelancing? Why don't you try industry dancing? All those things from there, it kind of took off. But it was always a hobby for me. I never wanted to make it my profession, and I never thought that it'll carry this forward.
Correct.
Because back then, we didn't have any infrastructure. So you can't visualize a profession without any infra. Today there are studios. Back then when we were dancing,
Nothing.
yeah, we had nothing. We had halls, open terraces. So we had to rehearse early in the morning at 5, 6 before the sun rises.
Correct.
Otherwise, you will probably have halls which will be like non-AC halls. So max you'll be able to dance in the heat of summers will be like around 2 hours max. So done all of that hustle.
Wow. So, you got started, made your friend circle, who were also into dance. What was the first proper professional work that you did, which was noticed and appreciated, and people said like, oh, okay, this is something, let's, and then that's when you maybe thought, yeah, I could do something with this, maybe that this could be a career.
Yeah, I think I was mainly more into teaching. That's how it started for me. So a lot of studios were still coming up back then. So right from this first studio in Bombay to the first international studio that came to Bombay, I've been a part of those setups. There, when we were showcasing in our annual showcases, that is where initially we were getting noticed. But mainly dance reality shows when I went into audition.
Yeah.
That I think can be like a turning point where actually the entire country saw me, and then I started receiving a lot of love through messages and emails, and I was also surprised. I was like, wow, there are a lot of people. And then I was more astounded to know that there were people around the world that were also writing in. So that is when I learned that there is a very big Indian community on the other side as well.
Correct.
And we were very young, yeah. So we didn't imagine such a response kind of a thing. So I was very overwhelmed, and then from there, because a lot of people saw me, they started reaching out.
So for people who may not know, what was the reality show on which,
it was my stint on the show was very small because I didn't even get selected in the top 18. This was Dance India Dance season 2.
Season 2,
yeah.
okay. That's what I thought. It must have been way back, yeah?
Way back, yeah. So that happened, and then after I didn't qualify, I was still pursuing it, but already the impact was already there. Because I think sometimes just doing even a 2-3 minuter
Correct.
on national
You get
television.
spotted, yeah.
Yeah, you get
people
spotted, yeah.
start noticing, oh, he's really good. And yeah, the coolest thing I've noticed about reality shows is also that there's always a fan base for whoever. You may not be first, second, third, whatever, but there are people who love you for what you do. It's exactly like sneakers, okay?
Yeah.
You may like this, somebody may not like it,
Yeah.
but I may be passionately in love with this.
Yeah.
To see that you are wearing this would make me want to, follow you or, be your fan or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure you must have found that audience which fell in love with you.
Yeah.
And what I find interesting is that you were able to, of course, there is a part of the journey in between which we will get to. I love the fact that in the last few years, especially like I said, at the start I said, seeing your content on YouTube, seeing the way you've been putting up content now on Instagram, it's phenomenal how, like you said, you were just teaching. From there, you've become one of the most recognized faces in the dance world right now on social media, in terms of collaborations, whether it's with brands, whether it's with movies, whether it's with the actresses from the movies, whether it's the actors from movies. You've done more than anybody else that I can think of in the dance space. How did that transition happen, man? How did you decide that it's now my time to be right up there?
I think it was mainly, so how I started my journey of making videos was basically that I wanted to record all of these things that I can do while I'm young, because as you age, you're not gonna be as fine and as your muscles are as fluid, because your bones, they become distinct from each other. You start losing control. Even if you try to do it at a later time, probably you'll not be able to execute it the way you can.
So it's more of a repository of all the content, क्या कर सकता हूँ वो सब एक जगह पे होना चाहिए. That was the basic idea that you began with.
Basically it happens, you meet some people 30 years later in life and you'll be like, Arey, back in the days I used to dance so well. And they'll be like, Arey, what rubbish. You must have been doing it, but not so good. So I thought, let me just document it and at least keep it. And it necessarily did not start that, I wanted to show people I can. Because most of the videos back then when I was posting were my class videos. I'm teaching a class, so at the end of the class we are like, okay, let's try to shoot it. And then YouTube was like, oh, you can upload videos here for free and whatever. So I said, okay, fine, just upload it. But those videos started receiving a good response. That's how it started. So then I was like, oh, ye kya hua? So then you have people writing in comments, please upload more, we want to. And then I received this one particular message, you can say, an email from, I don't recollect his name, but he was not an Indian. Some foreign guy who was touring, the remote villages, all these backpackers that probably love to see the world. One of them sent me a picture of 3 kids outside a hut in some remote town watching my video and practicing.
Wow.
So I was so touched by that. I was like, wow, actually it's going places where probably people are also interested and keen on learning. So let me continue and do this. So
that's amazing. Yeah,
so
man.
That's kind of
I think dance, just like music, is a very universal language.
Yeah.
You don't need to know the lyrics of a song. You don't need to know what the words mean. But through your physicality, you can express so much, which speaks volumes, which you don't really need to know. Yeah, lyrics kya keh raha hai? Like when I saw you dance on Besharam Rang recently.
Yeah.
The way your body moves, now if I did not understand Hindi, if I did not know what the song is, you've conveyed the feel of that song through your physical conversations that you were doing, through what your body was speaking to me. It was amazing. And it's not just that one song. And that's just an example of the top of my head, but all the songs that I've seen you dance on good dancers, when they dance, it's exactly like when a good singer sings. When she or he is singing, they express so much. And there was this very interesting interview that my wife had showed me once, where Lata ji was asked, आपने कभी शादी नहीं की थी, आप इतने अच्छे romantic गाने गाते हो, without experiencing those emotions, how are you able to convey the depth of that emotion through your singing? She said it comes down to the craft of it. If you know the notes, if you hit the right notes, those notes evoke those emotions with you. When you hear a great song, what are goosebumps? It's the song conveying a message to you through the music, through the notes. You could be hearing Andrea Bocelli sing. You don't understand what he's singing in Italian, but you feel the song.
You feel it.
That's exactly how I feel about great dance. You don't need to know what songs, like if you're dancing on a Latin American song and they're singing in Spanish, there's so much that you can convey, if it's romance, if it's action, whatever, through what you're doing through dance. And sorry for this massive monologue, but I want to tell you how much your music, how much your dance and the physicality that you bring through it must be meaning to so many people all across the world. I can very easily imagine kids wanting to learn to try to emulate that, to be able to have that conversation through their body. So, man, congratulations on this incredible path and this journey that you've already been on and that you continue to be on. And now I'll get to a question after this.
But it's all actually, it's all. I see it as a gift of God to me. I think
for sure, man.
because I know so many people who also try and attempt it, and never like even get close to getting good. No matter how many years they spend. So I think for us to even feel the music or be able to create, it's all thanks, because it's not that we just practice or it's like, oh, because we practice we got good. I think
it's got to be there.
Yeah,
which is why every singer who learns the techniques doesn't become Lata Mangeshkar, right? Otherwise, if it was just about learning those notes and hitting them correctly, every singer should be able to get that emotion out of people. Every singer is not Michael Jackson. Every dancer is not Michael Jackson. Similarly, what you do, every dancer who attempts to dance or who is looking at your videos and learning doesn't turn into Melvin Lewis, but you still give them something really beautiful to aspire to. You give them something amazing to want to imitate and learn, and even the journey of learning it is so much fun. And I think you've been a teacher to so many people, whether you even know it or not, because of your videos, which is what I told you. The moment you put your content out there, like you said, somebody sitting in a remote village somewhere has got your video on a phone and is learning to dance by looking at you. Let's talk about
recently. I have this anecdote. Recently, I was in the mountains. For start of my year, I took this long sabbatical kind of a break, and for 3 months I was like not dancing since like last November. I wanted that break, like mentally, because just to reorganize, restructure, reframe what. So I said I'll take this trip and I'll go to the north. And I was in the mountains, remote places, right? So those places, people, you don't think that people would recognize you, so you're bindas, you're like there, like who knows me here. But there I was there in some Meghalaya place outside this cave, this tiny place that is serving Maggie, and I was like, I want to have Maggie, and I go there and I'm like trying to have that, and then suddenly I see this girl open her eyes wide and she took my full name and she was like, she had that expression, like, you are here. And I was like, people know me here? Like, how is this happening?
That's the dream, man.
So I think, but again, this is like, it is not just the internet. I think God is very kind, and I really thank God every day when I wake up for this blessing. And it's such a good thing to actually be able to connect with people using this art form. Like, I think I really find that people treat me so nicely thanks to this art form. So I'm always grateful.
That's spectacular. So getting back into your journey, so Dance India Dance Season 2, and we kind of talked about what's been happening in the last few years. Tell me about some of the years in between that, because I'm sure it's not an easy path. Right?
It's never easy,
It's
man.
never easy to do something which is off center, which is not the safe path that most people would want to take. Talk about some of the experiences you've had in between.
I mean, like, the experiences of a dancer, like, especially for those guys who've been like doing it now for like about more than 10-15 years. The thing is that we have faced a lot of infra issues with regards to how to shape this up, where to put this out. It has never been easy to actually promote this or that, whatever we do. And now it's looking like a cakewalk, because now you easily have even the youngest lot of kids who are pursuing very happily, and their parents are very supportive. Yeah, beta, do this, like, you can. Back in the days, we were facing heat from our own people.
Correct.
Are you sure you want to do this? How long will you do this? Will this work for you, not work for you?
Correct.
So most importantly, for anybody who's in the creatives or like, who's trying to have an artist life of the future and is working towards the art, they're often very criticized and put in a spot by their own people that are like non-supportive, because they will put you into doubt all the time.
Correct.
And it may like create so much of a dilemma for you, because you would be like, should I pursue this or not pursue it?
Correct.
And many times you don't get the support, because people would be like, what, find a regular source of income. Like, find some
stability. It all
stability.
comes down to that, yeah. So, and then there are days which I'm sure you must be feeling like, hi, maybe there's a point to it.
Yeah.
Might as well, figure something out. But then I want to hear the rest of what you would want, what you would have wanted to say. Go ahead.
So that's what, like, when you have this doubt, that is when you have to like fight your battles. So the battles are not external. Your battles are always internal. So major hustling happens inside of you.
Absolutely.
And I think the only thing I would tell anybody who wants to pursue this or whatever, please have like a much stronger reason of conviction of why are you doing it and why you want to take this forward, because ultimately that is the thought that will keep your talent, your art alive. And if you don't have that, and if you're doing it to get famous or to have glamour and just the good side of it, then probably when it's not working, you'll find yourself not so motivated.
Correct.
My motivation comes from dance naturally, because I think even if I'm not making a video, but I'm naturally dancing, I feel happy about it and I feel overjoyed, and I think my day feels complete. And I think that is why I do it. And it not necessarily because I am dancing good do I feel that.
Correct.
Even if I dance, so for some people who already know this, so dance is your dose, I say. Dose is D-O-S-E, dose. Okay. So it actually triggers dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins.
There you go.
So all four that probably people today have to resort to.
To feel joy, feel.
And people do drugs. Instead of drugs, you can actually just try dancing.
Man,
And you can just get your high out of it.
There you go. I gotta jump in here and tell you guys, it's such great advice, especially for people who are starting off. Like I mentioned, both of us pretty much around the same time, he in his dance path, me on my music path, and I've said pretty much the same thing to anybody who's ever asked me. It's got to give you joy. That's got to be the founding principle of doing something creative. It can't be for external reason. It can't be because, oh, it may make me famous, it'll get me the girl, it'll get me this, it'll get me that. Nah, it can't be that. It should be where nobody is watching you and you still want to do that, and you cannot imagine doing anything but that. Once it's there, that's when you know that that's a career path. Otherwise, it's a hobby. And it's perfectly cool to have a hobby. You can have a job, and on your weekends, you could pursue a hobby and do it really well. There are so many people who I know who are singers, who are good dancers, who could just be doing it as a hobby. But then they know that they have a job that they are relying on, and that's perfectly cool too. But if you do want to get into this, it's got to be 24/7. There's no cop out over here, you know. But I want to ask you also about, like we spoke about, you put up such unbelievable videos. You've collaborated with some of the most talented people I've seen in the dance world. It would be unfair to say who's your favorite collaborator, but name maybe 3 or 4 people that you've genuinely enjoyed dancing with, And I've seen like you've done multiple videos with certain partners of yours. So, who are some of your favorite partners where the conversation of dance was very easy?
I think mainly when I'm collaborating also, I don't know how, if I can explain this right to you. Whenever I'm doing a collab, obviously it requires me to do the choreography.
Correct.
And most importantly, I have to make the other person also look equally good, or if not equally, more good than me, because that is the job, principal job of a choreographer.
Correct.
So it's not that, I have to look good.
Right.
It's like I have to design everything that makes the other person look good.
Right.
So this question actually should go to them, because for me, it's always working under some kind of pressure where I have to fulfill this. And that's when the audience that loves the artist or loves the work will actually appreciate the video. So I personally, when I think about it, okay, actually sit and I'll think who is your favorite or whatever. I can't think of any, because I feel I've always skipped the part of actually enjoying the process because I was trying to fulfill the process.
Correct.
So I never really felt that, okay, it's like asking you who's your most favorite interview. You could probably say it on the basis of the responses or the humor or what you felt.
Correct.
But for me, it's always been we didn't get this or we didn't get that. And as a dancer, trust me, there's no dancer in the world who look at their own video and say, this is my 100%.
Got it.
There is some place or the other where you'll always feel that, yahan pe na, I could have done this better or that better.
Correct.
So I never feel like that. I'm always very critical and I don't watch my own videos, that's why.
Okay, so I'm with you on that. I've been doing commentary for 5 years and I can never get myself to sit and hear myself do, Hindi commentary for WWE. I kind of get that completely. But I'll rephrase that question a little bit. So rather than saying the collabs, which have been say, driven towards a movie promotion, a brand or whatever, I'm talking about, tell me who are some of your favorite dance partners. And coincidentally, while dancing with somebody, you may have shot that dance and put it up.
Yeah.
And you've loved that. So who
Yeah.
are some of your favorite people to dance with? Forget about, it doesn't have to be an actor or whatever. It could just be a friend of yours whom you've enjoyed. Let's just give a shout out to whoever.
I will not take names. I've collaborated Mihir with like more than I think 200, 300 odd collabs I've done.
I know.
And now for me
It'll
to
be
like just filter out, it'll be like,
I know,
yeah.
and it'll also be very, it'll be like, why is my name not in that top 5 list? And
I think the
stuff.
best polite way of saying it is that, you know, if I collab with you, for the next 24 hours after that collab, till I edited it and till I actually put it out. So I edit most of my videos. And
Nice.
when I put it out there, for the next 24 hours, yes, you were my favorite.
Kya baat hai. I love the diplomacy over here. That's brilliantly answered. Okay, I will accept that, and we shall move on beyond that. Now, you know, let's talk about life beyond dance. You know, we've spoken about this over the last many months. For instance, I know, and you put up pictures on your social media as well. You've got a passion for sneakers, for instance. Is there? We'll get to sneakers because that's something I would definitely want to talk about. Anything beyond sneakers? Anything else beyond dance that you are passionate about and that people don't know? Because I know, like you, like basketball. I saw you play with Ranvijay and Varun and Harman the other day. Was it called Star
Ballers.
Star Ballers?
Yeah.
So I know you've been a fan of basketball all
for a
of
very
your
long
life.
time, yeah.
So tell me about some of your passions beyond dance.
So basically, I always wanted to actually be a basketballer when I started off.
Okay.
And I could not pursue it for long because, again, lack of infra, lack of places,
Correct.
everything was very far off. Could not pursue it beyond college. I used to play for college, and of course, we had like a good team and we were winning medals and stuff like that. It lasted only till there. After that, of course, like, you know, life takes over, you move on. So then it became like a weekend thing. But I'm so happy right now. There's so much happening with basketball now in the country. Like, you can see that. And Star Ballers is a team which is a celebrity team, which means every celeb that actually is very good at the game has become and joined the team. And we are often playing each other at places. So that's where you saw me play.
Yep.
I think basketball was something that actually gave me rhythm, which I totally translated it into dance. The athlete side of me actually gave birth to all the energy actually that I use today.
Nice.
And it's all thanks to my coaches and my teachers who worked so hard on me in my younger days, that today I feel so grateful that had they not pushed me back then, I think I wouldn't be able to be this active.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah, and I actually was like both my brothers are also basketball players. And
Oh wow, okay.
and it so happened that when it was my turn to start training, I think the activity had stopped in our school for some reason. So there was a break, and then when it came, I was so hungry to actually get good at it. So training used to happen 4 to 6. I would be on the court 3 to 7:30.
Kya baat hai.
Yeah, so my skin color was very different. I tanned on the basketball court actually. So all this sunburn is what you are seeing right now.
From your basketball days.
Yeah.
Where did the love for basketball come? Which was, you know, like I said, you know, when I talked about dance, you said, you know, Michael Jackson, Prabhudeva. Which was the team that appealed to you? Because basketball inherently is not a very Indian sport, right?
Yeah.
And when you think about sports in India, your first thought is cricket. And then now, over the last few years, it's been football. I think it's great that the NBA is making deep inroads into our country now. They're making an effort to reach out to smaller towns, letting people know about the joy of basketball. I mean, I've loved basketball, playing basketball during my college days, but even back then, there was nothing to watch. Like, there was not like NBA was being shown on television, you know, 15, 20 years ago, 25 years ago. So where did you find the love for basketball?
I think because of my brothers, it became like a thing. They used to wake up early in the morning. So all the basketball games, the NBA games, like, you know, would happen like 5 in the morning, 7 in the morning. So even when we were like back in school or whatever, that was a good time. They were showing it, but it was like a little rare.
Very rare. And they'd show only the big teams, you know, like, you know, you'd have the Lakers or you'd have the Bulls or whatever, you know, something like that.
Yeah, actually it was the basketball green room also, like, you know, post practice, whenever we were sitting, everybody will have so much of information.
Nice.
And those days, of course, you had the newspaper power. So on newspaper, you would see these stills.
Right.
You always have international news, and we would get inspired, knowing, okay, this player, that player. And also our basketball coach, we had a very good coach, and he also played for Asia Cup. And what a disciplined guy, man. Even till now, I'm like so grateful to him. And I actually learned these things from, you can say, my coach and my brothers. So that is how this whole thing started for me.
Well, just shout out to them. Give me their names so that, you know, they know your brothers,
Yeah,
especially,
my brothers,
your coach.
Yeah. So Alex, Stan, thank you so much for always inspiring me. My brothers, I will see you all on the weekend. And to my basketball coach, who's turned 76 this year.
Wow.
Esmero sir, thank you so much. His name is Esmero Figueredo.
That's beautiful. So basketball. But I was going to ask you. It was in my head, but then when you were talking about this, I was going to move on to the next thing. Who was your favorite player back then? When growing up, I mean, even if it was just from looking at the newspapers or whatever.
Surprisingly, it was not Michael Jordan. It wasn't. I mean, for me, one of the players that I watched and wanted to be or play like was Allen Iverson.
Allen Iverson, man, is a phenomenon.
He had flair,
player.
man. He had a lot of style in his skills.
I just remember hearing. I was watching a video related to basketball. So I watch a lot of basketball related content on YouTube, and somebody said that Allen Iverson was a superstar before there were superstars outside of sport. See, Michael Jordan was great because he was a great player.
Yeah.
People would go to watch Allen Iverson because he was such a character. The things he wore, the way he was, his style and everything.
He had a very street style of playing.
Exactly.
So I think that
and
is
then the chains and the looks and the hairstyles and everything. I think he was such a cool player. Like now it's commonplace. Like I remember even Allen Iverson talking about the fact that he'd get fined because when they did press conferences after the game, everybody was supposed to wear a suit, and he'd be like, "No, man, that's not me. I'm going to be wearing. If I'm getting fined or whatever."
Yeah.
But now everybody, like you see, they are all dressed in their own cool way. Walking into the game is a thing now. They want to see what you're wearing on your feet, what drip you're wearing, what are the clothes that you're wearing. Allen Iverson was like the OG style guy back then.
He was very good.
Yeah, very cool. So basketball is one thing, and I think an offshoot of for anybody who's a passionate basketball player is sneakers. So tell me about your love for sneakers, and I love seeing your pictures, man. Whenever you share a little glimpse of your massive collection that you have, it's pretty cool. So how did the love for sneakers begin?
It was always a thing. When I was growing up also, I always had love for shoes. I mean, like for boys, any which ways, the whole sneaker thing also actually goes back to days of basketball only.
Correct.
Back then in India, you couldn't find these shoes.
Yeah.
You always would walk into a sport brand and you will find only running shoes or tennis shoes and whatever. And I was like, where are the basketball shoes at?
Correct.
So then I would have to go all the way to town. Only in Kolaba there were 2 stores back then. We would just have just 2 basketball shoes available here. And the sizes would be a fight.
Right.
So that's the problem again, if you are a size like UK 10, it's a very common size. And every basketballer is like 10, 11, 12, sold out. So it's like how to get your hands on good pairs of shoes. So I always had that dream of getting shoes right for basketball. And then when I started dancing, I often started wearing my basketball shoes to my dance practices. And then that's how it started happening. And because I would do so much of activity, no shoe would last. If I'm dancing in them and I'm playing basketball, it will not last for more than 5-6 months. It will get worn out. So then came the need of you need more shoes. And then I would steal my brother's shoes and I would get cornered by him every alternate day. Because no matter how hard I tried to wipe it clean and put it, I was so dumb because the shoes would have scratches and those days even basketball courts were not like wooden indoor courts now.
Correct.
They would be like courts made of tar and concrete.
Tar and concrete, exactly.
And the shoes will get spoiled. So I would get whacked by him and he'll be like, I told you not to wear my shoes. I'll be like, I'm sorry, whatever. And then today I gift him shoes and
yeah, there you go.
So I'm like, okay, fine, give back now, whatever.
So, before we wrap up for today, firstly, I had a great time talking to you about your journey. What's coming up next? Is there something in the pipeline right now, something new that you're going to be putting out, whether it's content, whether it's anything else? Is there something that you want to tell people about?
I'm just laughing because I was just thinking about, I just asked myself as to, Mel, what are you doing off late? So off late what I'm doing is actually, Mihir, I'm cooking. I have pledged now to learn all of my mom's recipes.
क्या बात है?
हाँ, मेरे को खुद सीखना है. I don't want to depend because many a times it so happens that I'm very far off from her and I'm not able to get home food and I'm tired eating this restaurant food and stuff here. So I'm like, nahi ho raha mujhse. So I have actually started video calling my mother, stand in the kitchen, learn all her recipes, make a book I'm
Love
writing
it.
it down.
I love it.
And this is what I'm actually doing right now.
This is the greatest answer I have got at the end of an episode, because see, generally at the end of the episode I ask my guests ki, bhai, what's next, so that I can tell you guys, watch out for this, watch out for this. So now I can watch out for this, because next time you get on one of your cooking sprees, I want to come, I want to sit and grab a bite with you.
Of course.
So that I can also taste your...
यार काम होता रहेगा यार. Like,
काम तो होता रहेगा. This is awesome. I love that. Okay, and the final thing that we're going to do before we wrap up, I'm going to pick up my phone. I've got these 10, so we call this the MJ10. This is going to be questions that I'm going to ask, all of my guests. But remember to do that. I missed out on the last one, Mayur, sorry. हम अगले बार जब मिलेंगे, I'm going to ask you these questions. But here are the questions for Melvin. So
let's go.
Okay, the first one. So considering we were talking about sneakers, the one sneaker that you can wear for the rest of your life, like get multiple copies of that and keep.
Air Force One whites.
Air Force One triple white, perfect. It's the most cleanest, simplest shoe. You can wear it all the time. Your favorite rappers have multiple pairs of Air Force Ones in their collection. That's like a guarantee. Okay, that's a great answer. What would your superhero name be?
My superhero name?
If you were a superhero.
Wow, man. I never thought of it. I think.
Switch on.
You name me. Mihir, I think, give me some time, man. I'm not so good at prompt. Superhero. Kya yoga? Dance.
We shall get back to him on this answer. He's going to think about it.
I'm sorry, this is supposed to be rapid fire, right?
Rapid fire, ठीक है. What would his superhero name be? Give us.
नहीं.
Give us
come up with all the.
नहीं. Give us answers in the comments, and the best one we'll get Melvin to pick the best one from the comments. Okay, भाई comments में लिखो.
This is going to lead to massive trolling. I'm sorry. Please don't comment anything. This is not going.
अरे बाबा YouTube पे तुम बोलोगे नहीं comment करना, that's the wrongest thing. करो जो भी करना है करो, no problem, don't worry.
Superhero name. Mihir, do you think like? What is my superpower though?
Dance, man. That's your biggest superpower. Imagine like being able to save the world through dance moves. Like one dance move, and you suddenly are able to like project power through and get people to experience the joy that you feel. People are feeling sad. Dance move your hand towards them, and they feel the joy. Think about that. I'm giving you your superpowers. Now think of a name that suits that superpower. I love this shit.
I don't know. Like all the visuals that you did, right? It still makes me like look damn funny, man.
Achha, we'll come to the superhero name later now.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the one thing that you would risk your life for?
Risk my life for? I think I would risk my life for. I think my parents are most dear to me. I think
Beautiful.
For them, I think I would risk my life easily.
I like that. Bollywood movies or Hollywood movies?
I think.
What do you watch when you're at home?
We are like trying not to call it Bollywood anymore. We are calling it
the Indian film industry or the American film industry?
I think I would any day go for the Indian cinema.
I love it, man. That's
more
awesome.
Relatable, no?
I can imagine. I mean, and I love the fact that all of your dances are on all the songs that you guys love so much. Songs that that are current and popular right now, but even older songs. And I love that, man. And unabashedly Indian film music. Not Bollywood music. I've heard a lot of music directors and singers also moving away from that word Bollywood for correct reasons. I mean, get that. Okay, you kind of spoke about this, but I'm going to ask you specifically, one sport you watch and your favorite team in that.
One sport I watch and my favorite team. I think for a very long time I was a Lakers fan, and basketball is always like my favorite sport. But I think right now, I don't think there is some other sport that probably is getting my attention, which is ice hockey.
क्या बात है?
हाँ, so I'm trying to watch that. It's fun, yeah.
Damn, man. Where are you getting to watch ice hockey? दिखा रहे हैं क्या कहीं पे?
Yeah. Like you get to see.
Online.
Online, yeah.
Of course, nice. And is there a team that you follow?
No.
Just enjoy watching.
I'm like still educating. I'm still getting there, yeah.
But okay, so if it was basketball, it's the Lakers.
Yeah, of course.
Like that. Okay, what's the most memorable comment you've ever received on social media? Something that actually, like one of the examples that you said is somebody sent you a photo of 3 kids. Is there a comment that you saw from a fan or whatever which has stuck in your head?
So mostly when I collab with all these beautiful actresses and artists who are so good looking, there is always a standard comment in my comment box which says, "अरे कोई लड़के को भी देख लो यार." The guy does not exist only in the video. यार. I think I really love that comment because it only goes to show that I've done such a great job that you're looking at my piece of art.
Yeah, there you go.
So I think ध्यान मेरे पे जाए नहीं तो चलेगा. अच्छा, it's good.
That's cool. Okay, the one food thing that you can eat pretty much all your life. Like, you know, if you had that, you're satisfied.
I think my mom's any hand cooked meal, anything you give me anytime, I'm good. Like, yeah, I'm a very basic guy. Yaar. I like dal, chawal.
Simple, man. I'm telling you, man, if you're a Maharashtrian, if you know Varan Bhat, I could eat Varan Bhat for the rest of my life, no problem. Or for that matter, idlis. I can eat an idli in the morning for breakfast every day and I won't get bored. I love it. So yeah, simple food is, I think, the thing that you can. You can't keep repeating burgers every day. You can't keep repeating pizzas every day or like, you know, pasta and whatever. अपने को ये simple घर का खाना अच्छा लगता है. Good, I like that. One content creator you want to work with.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I think you, man. I think for a very long time, Mihir has been doing music and probably we collab someday.
Let's do that, man. Best fan moment in your life. What I mean by that is not you being a fan of someone, but some fan who met you and that for you was moving enough where it's still with you. And don't laugh, okay? अभी मजाक मत करो. I'm sure you got so many fans who love what you are doing. Don't put yourself down in this way. Why are you laughing, man? हजारों लाखों fans हैं इनके. Of course, he must have met a whole bunch of fans.
So all of them appeared in my head, so that's why I'm like laughing. I mean, there are some like very funny instances with fans because many a times fans get very excited. So they meet you, they bump into you, and they're like suddenly so excited. So many a times now they get so excited, take mine, and they'll be like, Melvis, and I'll be like, it's Melvin Lewis. It's not Melvis. So I think that is my most favorite, and it has happened to me multiple times.
Melvis.
Yeah, Melvis at the airport. Somewhere in some hotel lobby, whatever, they come running to you, and you also like, "Arey, wow!" Like, you know, some fan recognizes me. You can see them smiling, gleaming. Everything is going right, and they reach right there, and they'll be like, "Are you Melvis?" And I was like, "Yes, darling. I am Melvis."
I am Melvis.
I think that should be my superhero name.
There you go. We got it finally pretty much at the end of the round. And the last question that I have for you is.
Before we go there, Ari, I have this fan moment. I'll tell you.
Tell me.
So I was actually performing for, there was one YouTube fan fest that had happened in 4 cities, not just one. I think it was the 2018 one, okay. So I was there performing in Hyderabad, and while I was there was a lot of security, and of course, like, you know, for the other cities, they had less artists, like they had like around only 7 or 8 YouTubers just doing something, and it was a packed auditorium show, and we just had about an hour long of stuff. So towards the end of the show, at the closing act, so obviously dance and everything is like getting over. So security is closing in, and of course there are dancers, so they're trying to make room and stuff. Suddenly there is this one hand that comes up from the middle of the crowd. Okay? One hand just comes up with like a flower pot looking thing, and I thought it's a plant, and this one hand comes up like that, and it is actually cactus. Okay, one full hand like that going up and cactus, and that girl is just giving me like this stare, the coldest death stare that I've felt. I was so scared, afraid, I was happy, I was sad, everything at the same time. I was like, what is she trying to do? But there is one as a cactus coming right at me, like, you know, she's trying to give me the cactus, and my security is like, sir, क्या करना है? And I was like, पता नहीं क्या करना है, क्या मतलब, is it for me? What is it? So then I called for her backstage because obviously I don't want to have an anxiety-filled night. I don't want to keep thinking about like what was she doing?
Exactly.
So then, you know, we called her to the green room backstage, and she gifted me this cactus, and I was like surprised. I was like, why did you get me a cactus though? It's so rare to be gifting cactus. So she's like, no, it's my favorite plant and stuff like that, and I really want you to have it. Please, like, take it or whatever. And she wouldn't leave. She made sure that, you know, we kept it safely in the car. And then, you know, I got it back, and that one moment I still like remember. I think that was the best way of actually her making sure that I never forget her for life.
Yeah, but there you go. Like, of all the things he remembered you, if you're watching this video right now, and he remembered the cactus. So that final question, and I know it's a difficult question to answer because you've danced on so many songs. But say in the last few months, maybe last 1 month, maybe yesterday, what's the one song that you've enjoyed dancing to? Just by yourself, forget about collaborating with someone or getting somebody else to dance. A song that you heard and said, yaar, maza aa raha hai, is pe dance karna hai.
I think I have been listening to a lot of 90s music of late, and I really enjoyed this song, Chand Tare, by, this is an SRK song.
Lovely, man.
Sang by Abhijit. I think I really love that song, the whole vibe that it has, and I think not necessary that I have to like always dance to like look good. I think I can just dance to also enjoy.
Enjoy,
So I really like the feel of that song, and I think if I've also watched the videos multiple times, and it's such a great video. You have Shah Rukh like all over the city.
Lovely.
Such a good song of on self motivation and self aspiring.
That's beautiful. That's the MJ10 segment with Melvin Lewis. Please let us know what you thought about this conversation here in the comments below. Make sure you like this video, you share it with all of your friends so that they get to know about Melvin's journey as well. Make sure you're following him on Instagram. You can see our Instagram handles on the screen right now, and I'll give you a link to both of our Instagram handles in the description below as well, and subscribe to his YouTube channel as well. Again, the link for that will be in the description below.
नहीं करेंगे यार
अरे करने दो यार. But by the way, before we wrap up for the day, for all your fans who are watching, that's your camera.
Okay.
There, please tell them. I kind of said it right now, but I'm going to make him say it again so that maybe you guys will listen to him. Please ask them to subscribe to the MJ Show channel, because we've been, by the way, this year in August we complete 10 years.
Okay.
We've done over like 400 episodes, and I'm happy to have this season going into our 10th year.
Wow.
I'm happy to have you on it, man, today.
Thank you so much.
So please let your fans know.
All you lovely people out there, this is the MJ Show, and it is so special because this happens to be the 10th year of the MJ Show, and you've shot what, more than 400 episodes?
Yeah, man.
Wow. So all the best, Mihir, and I keep watching your videos, and it's so inspiring. Also, I really personally love your rapid 10 questions. I think they were so thoughtful and very well scripted. So all you guys watching right now, please subscribe to the MJ Show and go watch all of the content.
That's perfect. That's pretty much all the time we have for now, ladies and gents. Melvin Lewis, Mihir Joshi saying bye-bye.